Welcome back, anglers. I'm the Survivalist, and today we're doing a little bit of a short departure from the usual for like how I do series and such. Yesterday I had talked about, or I put out the video essay for like called Wild the Angler, why I think it failed. It's like 3 points of like, it lacked a really good core gameplay experience. It was pretty bad with like trying to get players just to have the information of what they could try focusing on or targeting fish species in-game for and such. And then lastly, the updates didn't really help go in the direction that it should have for like expanding the game and addressing some of the problems. So I wanted to focus on that first point I had mentioned because I didn't elaborate which games I think had a really good core gameplay loop or like that core gameplay identity to play. So today we're actually checking out one of the games that had, for the genre the game is, I'm surprised how good the fishing was to it, because it's not a game that has a fishing focus, really. It's, truth be told, if people are like more into a fishing title, they'd never think to look to this entry or this title for the fishing bits of it. But I think what it did was actually pretty innovative for how simple it was, and it's really surprising. I don't know if anybody's ever really copied it. And the title in question, bring it onto screen or shrinking my face into the corner as usual. Just looking, you might not be able to tell what it is, so I'm just going to say it is actually Far Cry 5. Yeah, the Far Cry title, which is known for just guns, random action, all kinds of crazy stuff, actually included a decent fishing system within itself. So I'm just going to take the basic rod out and show kind of what this entailed. Like, aside from the little bit of control guides you have at the bottom, this has, like, one of the neatest bits of, like, immersive HUD to it. Because all you really watch for how to bring the fish in are, not sure what the sound of that was, but the line color and once something's on the other end of it. Like, you can see fish come in, hook, and now, I'm not going to move the rod at all, I'm just going to try dragging the fish in. And notice how slow it is trying to just bring the fish in without trying to, like, fight its movements. When I talked about the angler call of the wild, I talked about how it didn't really seem to matter using the rod at all. Far Cry 5 was actually surprisingly smart in knowing that, okay, well, if we want to make the fishing engaging and have the player, like, playing for it, the rod movement is essential for it. So, again, you just have to watch the way the fish is moving and the color of the line as well. Because I'm not sure if we'll be able to see it with this fish, because it might be a smaller one. But as the stress gets too high, you'll actually see the line color change. Right now it's pretty bright fluorescent green, but it'll start going more towards red if the line is having too much stress put under it. But yeah, right now, trying to just reel in without using the rod at all, we're not really making any progress. Nothing's happening. Now, let's include the rod. We're fighting the way the fish is trying to pull. And now you see, we've brought that in a lot closer. It's where I think fishing games need to try to remember to include the rod as well. Like, I was in, like, only the early parts of, like, say, Rush Fishing 4 that, so I can't speak of how that title really was with, like, better fish. Or, like, larger fish or stuff like that. But for Call of Wild the Angler, all that mattered was how you pumped the rod and reeling in. There was no what angle or direction or such you really had to do with it. And I think that's a big shame, especially when you look at how Far Cry 5, for, like, it just being a mini-game, what if you could have this bit for, like, bringing the fish in, but then combine that with all the retrieval techniques and all the other stuff to set up for getting a fish in. So I'm going to go through the 3 different rods, and I'm even going to try with the, like, gamepad controller to see how that is too. But it was funny. The fishing in Far Cry 5 stood out to me far more than any other aspect of the game. Like, I can't remember names of any characters. Events are... I might know some of them, but it's more like a blur to them. But the fishing always stood out. And it's something where they did a few fair things right. Like, again, it's simplistic to get it set up. But it's kind of like, it got the gameplay and the engagement of how it feels to reel in really right. Whereas I think Call of the Wild the Angler got your diversity of species to go for, your variety of gear, your variety of lures, all of that, okay. But it dropped the ball hard when it came to actual experience of like trying to fish and bring something in. So that was just with the basic rod. I believe it is, depending on the rod you use, you get different amounts, or like different difficulties for like the fish you'll bring in. So we're just going to quickly switch this out for the intermediate rod next. And go through and just like a little overview of how it feels to play using it. Because yeah, we go... I'm not sure why rate of fire changes like things there. But now we're going to go to the mid-range, and then we'll go to the top of the line after. But when I've played so many of the fishing titles I have in the, like, on the channel, like Call of the Wild the Angler, Fishing Simulator 2, Open Fishing, I don't think anything really incorporated the rod as heavily as Far Cry 5's minigame has. Now again, it could be towards the end game of some of the titles, that's when it would be more used and, like, has more effect. I just want to see if I can bring this in. I was hoping to show off the, like, line-changing color with bringing something in. I'll try for a couple catches here, and if nothing, like, does show up like that, I'm going to take us to another area I think might have some larger fish to bring in that'll show it better. Yeah, it's still pretty small, so I'm just going to try one more cast really far out. Ooh, let that fly. And I'll just see if we can get something in to show off, like, the little bit of more HUD details. But if you took off, like, the little information you have at the bottom, the real line, the post fish movement, you could slot this in as, like, almost any other fishing title. So that's kind of what I think the big flaw is for fishing titles, is you have to have the player, I'd probably say, both hands engaged. Just like how when you are trying to reel fish in, you're both trying to work the rod to try to keep that in the right direction, and also reeling back. If you forget one half of the... If you only focus on, like, again, reeling and pumping the rod, you don't have that really more ingrained and more engrossed focus of you trying both things at the same time. It feels a little lackluster because you're not fully engaged in interacting with the systems. So now we're going to go, where was it? Oh, right here, Widow's Creek. Now we're just going to fast travel to this spot, do a little bit of fishing around here, and see if we have some better and bigger game go for there. Well, not game, but fish. Well, I guess game fish, technically game might actually apply there too. Yeah, again, it's kind of funny. I'm playing Far Cry 5 for the fishing aspect of it, which it does sound weird, but if you've ever played it, it's actually not that far off for, like, an experience. So yeah, we're just going to come down here and do some more casts at this point.
That's a mangy looking thing, isn't he?
So I'll get a cast out
Got a second?
and see what we can get here. There we go. And see if we can get the line to show more stress to it. But you can also go audibly, too, when you have the right direction for reeling in. You hear the reel really spinning. There we go. Rainbow trout.
some thinking.
Oh, well, we got a little bit of wildlife over there. Hopefully it doesn't turn aggressive at us, because, again, I'm just trying to fish. You can get distracted by a lot in this game, just trying to focus on the fishing part of it, but... That's the thing, is it's simple, but because it has you both minding the mouse and the pressure and, like, when to reel in, when not to. Let me see if I can actually even try to change that up more, because there are, like, little lures you can pick. Let's go for trout bugger. See if maybe I can use that to get a bigger one.
You got a second?
But I think my perfect fishing game would be when you have a fish hooked and on the line, it plays like Far Cry 5 does for its fishing minigame, but you have the variety of gear and progression that Call of the Wild the Angler has for, like, supporting that around
I've been doing
it.
some thinking.
I know some people are probably going to be more, no, the game needed much more realism. Oh, you can see the color there, so, like, if I hold, it was starting to turn yellow there. I'm hoping I can kind of get it to do that again. Oh, she brought it in before I could really let the line show the color for it.
I got a proposition for you.
Okay, we'll get that out. And again, try to show that properly.
I've been doing some thinking.
But some people would lean that maybe Called Wild the Angler needed more realism to help itself out. But I feel like you have to take the approach that the Hunter Classic and the Hunter Call of the Wild did. If it's too hardcore focused like that, I don't think you're going to pull in as big of an audience as you might need compared to, like, trying to make it a little more accessible for casual and wider. Maybe eventually you could have, like, some kind of setting or difficulty you could enable to make it more realistic. But not doing that, I think,
I've been doing some thinking.
like, going, like, too heavy realism, I don't think works as well as some people might have been hoping. And now you can see that bright green's orange.
You got a second?
I'm actually kind of surprised that the line hasn't snapped yet. But maybe we'll try the third rod and we'll see that happen. But again, it's just a nice way of showing stress without having, like, a little video game meter going back and forth. So I'm just going to take us back to the boathouse up here. Oh, no, over here. That's right, because I want to change out the rod again. We'll go for the heaviest rod, or the best rod I currently have available, and see if that lets us go after a bit more larger and tougher fish to bring in. When it has come to, like, fishing for a lot of titles that
Thanks.
it's often a mini game that's just kind of squeezed in there.
May not look like much now, but I know we can.
And I know people are going to be... I think I heard... Oh, I do hear a beehive. Yeah, let everybody just freak out for a moment. Okay, there to that. And yeah, there's one more rod, but I haven't actually completed that one quite yet. I don't actually know if I should check and see if the map does list, like, any hard fishing spots or not. That just says kokanee salmon. Is there anywhere else I've got fishing symbol or icon unlocked at? I think I'm into New Game Plus or whatever. It's been years since I've last touched the game, because, again, rainbow trout. Yeah, maybe we'll try back around Widow's Creek here. It is the case, though, that this little fishing experience, this little bit of just playing this, really stood out enough that I remember this far more vividly than anything else to it. Oh, well, there's an easier way down than I was taking. Okay. We'll try with this rod and see if we can get something that's a bit more of a fight on the line. And we'll go for the trout bugger. God, what is his name? Boomer, I think it was? I honestly don't know. Boomer, the good boy. Yeah, that's, again, I wasn't even sure the name there.
You got a second?
So we'll put this sucker back to use. And see if we can get a
I got a proposition for you.
really big fish on. So now the line is a bright blue there. So I'm hoping maybe this will be a sign. We'll see more tension to that. Or it just might be very easy to bring in. Let me talk. I think she actually gives fishing missions.
One tricky bugger to catch, and I had a thought that it might be easier if we did it together. Even if we split the cash 50-50, it's still more than enough for me and Dylan. So, you in? But first things first, you gotta up your fishing game. I marked some of my favorite fishing spots on your map, but you'll need to grab some special bait. Meet me by the Claggett boathouse when you're done, and we'll get after the Admiral. Get ready for a fight, though, because that motherfucker, he's got some serious teeth.
Okay, well. Okay, so what do I gotta do for this? I was like, this is the boathouse right here. Oh, catch a bass and sturgeon. So all I need to do, I think, I guess, is find where those might be. Let's hope and see, like, if there would actually be little markers for that. But you know what, I'm just going to see about trying to get to another lake and go for something else. Hopefully without too much distraction. No. Oh, actually, that wouldn't be bad to go for. The only problem is I don't think I have a quick way up there. So this might be a little bit more involved of experience than I was going to originally have. But if I want to show off the fishing at, like, its higher difficulties and, like, the involvement to it, that's probably a good place to get going for it. Just leave us alone. I just need to get a ride quickly. Sorry, gentlemen, I'm not looking to carpool. Although, actually, no, this'll work. Okay, let's see. Let's set our destination. I'm not actually sure which way to go for finding that. So I guess we'll just try going this way and see what we come across. Oh yeah, it's quite a ways off. I don't mind anything I'm doing. It's just the commute out to the fishing spot, that's all. Oh, right. I forgot I could draw something out if I wanted. Jaywalking really is a problem in this area. Just a little bit of a mountain drive. We'll be there hopefully in no time. Yeah, see, only a little over a kilometer. That's not too far. There we go. Heading on our way. And continue along. Ooh, just mind some wildlife. And a little bit further. I would turn on the radio, but I'd probably have to mind how many copyrights start flying off if I did that. Yeah, we're getting there. Okay. That might be a little harder to get up to, because I think we're about as close as we can get here. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Alright, that's how we are. I'm kind of glad that there are all the control things here, because, again, memory of how to actually play the game escapes me a fair bit. Not climb our way up. And, oh, keep going. There we go. Yeah, not too far now. I think... Don't really see any other... Oh, over here. Got a little bit of a ways to go, but hopefully it'll be a very good fishing spot because of it. Maybe we'll be away from distractions up there, too. Nope. Sorry, not trying to cause you guys issues. Sorry. Okay, good. Again, not trying to cause you guys issues, it's just you were right there as I came up. Oh. Interesting little spot. Oh, right over here. Oh yeah, we should be left pretty well alone. I was gonna say, I think we'll be left pretty well alone fishing up here. Oh, do we even got a free boat to pick up? There, free boat. Okay, let's hop in and go for a little bit of a... Oh, hang on. Let's even get our buddy on board. I don't know if he actually will come on board with us or not. Now, truth be told, I don't blame him for his hesitation. Now, did I get this stuck? Alright, you can swim in the game, too. I guess he's just going to enjoy a bit of a swim. I was going to see if I can get him on board. Okay, well, if he's going to do that, I guess we'll just go to... right around here. Oh. Well, that's why we're not going to be casting from the shore. Oh, there we go. Got a little bit something coming in. Okay, looks like I got to try casting over that way. Yeah, there is actually a little bit of, like, luring something in to strike your setup. You can't just kind of let it sit in the water. You gotta mind how you reel and everything. Dang, that bear can move. There we go. Okay, so we'll see how... Oh, you can already see the line changing bit from blue to a purple there. I thought that was... Arctic grayling salmon. I didn't think they would be called... Well, I guess maybe that's like the species, or the family they are a part of. Okay, let's go for salmon egg. And we'll see if we can get, like, a proper fight with another one. Looks like the wildlife is having some fun. But not seeing any other... Oh! Okay, there was one interested. So let's see if I can get that Another cast out that way, and we can get it on. There we go. Okay. Yeah, you can see the line was getting redder and redder as we had it on there. So now I'm going to try with the gamepad and see how that's going to go for an experience. Okay, so right trigger to cast. I mean, granted, with how simplistic the fishing is, I doubt it's going to be anything all that major of a difference, but we'll see. Having the joystick instead of, like, the mouse for the sensitivity could add a little bit of a difference. There's another one brought in. And yeah, I do think I'll have to... I wish I had this, not New Game Plus, to, like, have a more proper and better way of, like, a really hard fight to show off with it. But I do feel like if a game could manage to just capture and do what Far Cry 5 had done for, like, once you get a fish on and how that plays, combined with Called Wild the Angler for how it gave you the fish variety... Ooh, there we go. The fish variety, lure variety, progression, stuff like that, it would do very well. Just want to see... I don't suppose there's anywhere else that I've got, like, a fast travel point set up that has a fish marker, is there? No, nothing that I can really see, unfortunately. Again, I wish I had this a little bit better done so I had more variety to talk about with it, but... Oh, yeah, I mean, I could actually fast travel here. We did pass a lake on the way up here. Or, you know what? I think I had... Yeah, you know what? There's also this here. We'll try fast traveling to this. Head over here, try a little bit on this area of water as well, see what we can get in. And that'll probably be it for this little... Well, I thought it'd be shorter than it is, but I guess we did also include a little bit of a road trip on there dealing with the locals. There we are. Yeah, so we're just going to quickly come to the dock and try our luck here. And we'll just go for the basic mayfly. See what we can get with that. Oh, good news is we already see quite a few splashes out there. Boomer, you're going to scare away the fish. Or maybe you'll attract them. I actually don't know. There we go, another rainbow trout. Again, I was hoping to try to find something really big to give us a very good test of, like, how it is once you get, like, a supersized fish on, but I don't think I'll get lucky this early game for it. There we go. And let's just bring that in quickly. There we go. But again, that I think is the big thing that just was missing from Called Wild the Angler, is that it didn't have as immersive or as engaging of a fishing experience for itself. If it would have had that, and it's more so, it's kind of like, oh, I'm excited to get to the actual fishing aspect, not more of like the surrounding stuff, or I want to try to get this lure, I want to try to get this rod, etc. getting it so that way the main focus was it's fun to play and stay engaged with, I think would have helped it a lot more, but it failed on that pretty bad. And again, it doesn't take much, I think, to make an engaging fishing experience. It's usually something that's kind of mitigated down into mini games for a lot of things to do, but the basics, I think, is both hands of the player need to be engaged in some way for it. Called Wild the Angler, it really was the case if you're using joypad, was reel in, let go, reel in, let go. There might have been, if you want to pump the rod, you could, but it's kind of hard to tell what feedback, if anything, you were getting from there, so... Oh, the little notifications aside, we'll go back to the water's edge since I think it was quieter there. Oh, for whatever fishing games come ahead, I hope there's a little bit more of actually trying to copy off of what other games have done, like copycat. Because go through, check out a lot of the fishing minigames, see what ones are like the most fun, and people say, oh, I enjoyed that a lot, I had a lot of fun with that. If you can figure out what the common pattern is there, and implement that into your own game, I think that's where you're going to excel majorly when it comes to things. I know Far Cry 5 is trying to emulate, I think it's fly fishing for, well, yeah, it's a fly fishing rod, but it's very simplified down, so I think it would be, if you were to try to do fly fishing in itself in another game, it would need to be more complex than how it is here. But for once you do have a fish hooked on, make it so that way it is a little bit of a game of fighting back and forth, of trying to work the rod angle quite right. And when you do have it right, give some audio cue or some kind of visual sign that you've hit the right sort of connection. That's where I talked about last episode of making the little circles and trying to keep the fish icon kind of in the middle of that for the best results. I think if you're able to do something like that, you'll be able to hook a lot of people, be really interested in. A lot more people will be more engaged and fun and comment about like how the experience is fun. But yeah, like, I was just trying to see if I could get a point where it's like you can hear when the fish are not quite in the right direction with them. And again, everything's so early game, I don't have the best example, so I do apologize for that, but I wanted to just give the example since I didn't really give a proper one in the prior video about what I meant by, like, a good core gameplay identity. This is the kind of fishing where I do want to play more and see how other species fight or things like that. But yeah, overall, with that done, and actually with a pretty nice little bit of a view here, we'll end this episode right here. So thank you guys for listening to another little bit of a ramble and rant about like my takes on where Called Wild the Angler fell short. My suggestion is get the fishing experience itself fun and engaging. Have it so that way the player does have multiple inputs that need to be met for it, and it'll feel like it's more of a proper game and keep attention much longer. If you can do that, you can probably succeed where Call of the Wild the Angler failed. But until I do see you all next video or episode, anglers and survivors, please remember, as always, to take care, stay alive, and happy angling.